We are next going to talk about Texas Tech and UCF. Another blowout. 48-9. The Red Raiders, no hangover game at all. I don't know. I know Joy McGuire likes our content, all right? And I love the guy. You know that if you've been following me and following this channel for any period of time. And if you don't, well, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now. I wonder if Joy McGuire heard what I said on Wednesday when I suggested that Tech, coming off of the biggest game in Lubbock in almost 20 years, college game day, wild scene, top 10 matchup, was going to take the foot off the pedal a hair. Because he talked about it after the game. And he said, and I'm summarizing here, some people thought that we might have a letdown performance, but I got a bunch of veteran dudes. And they were not going to let that happen. And I respect that. But he doesn't just have veteran dudes. He's got dudes. I mean, he's just got absolute studs all over this team. And these guys were tremendous again on Saturday. They are now 10-2. I mean, they are a game away from obviously playing in that Big 12 championship. And it was unbelievable to watch, like, Jacob Rodriguez do, run into the end zone, strike the Heisman pose after the first offensive touchdown of his career, and it put UCF in a 14-0 hole early in the game, and obviously that was basically game, set, match. So this team, you had Rodriguez obviously building up, I think, a solid Heisman campaign at linebacker. He had another interception. He led the team with 9 tackles. It is so crazy to think that we're talking about a Texas Tech Heisman Trophy contender being somebody who's on defense. But that's how nasty that side of the ball is. Just think about it. I mean, UCF was in an early hole with 2 points because of a safety that came from a hold on Texas Tech in its own end zone. But this game was over very quickly, and the good news is that it got Baron Morton to the bench. All right, he's dealing with that fracture in his leg. He can just go out there, and he got to rest, and now they've got a bye week before they wrap up the season against West Virginia, and then have to, if they win that game, play in a Big 12 championship game. So Morton got the rest that he needed. It could not have been a better follow-up game to what happened last week against BYU based on what the expectations were. And you now have all 10 of Texas Tech's wins by at least 20 points, which obviously is a school record, and their average margin of victory is 33.8. Our guy, Tim Brando, was going off on playoff privilege. He kept saying, or he said a couple times during the broadcast, this team is getting disrespected by the committee. And you would think that, well, what do you mean they're number 6 in the country? If you had an SEC team running up these kinds of scores with this kind of resume, they'd be number 1 in the country. They would be. Okay? That's no doubt about it in my mind. And that is exactly what Tim Brando was getting at when he was talking about this on Saturday during the broadcast. He was tremendous. He was backing up the Big 12. It was great to see. And you know what? We need guys like Tim Brando on the College Football Playoff Committee. That's what we need. You know, Texas Tech and Ohio State have strength of schedules that are right next to each other. Ohio State's 50, Texas Tech is 52. All right? I mean, let's be honest about that. So that's what's going on right now, but no one talks about Ohio State and says, oh, you know, easy record, easy schedule, strength of schedule. They don't do that with Ohio State. Never do. Right? So I'm just saying, what Brando's talking about there is accurate. And he's got the Big 12's back. He knows what's going on with these brands getting a lot of attention over a team like Texas Tech. And on top of that, same thing happened on College Game Day. And I want to take a break with College Game Day because they have been pretty fair to the Big 12 the last couple of weeks. But every time Tech comes up, they talk about the money. They don't talk about the money with Ohio State. They don't talk about the money with A&M. They don't talk about the money with Georgia. They're all spending a lot of money. Can we stop with this idea that Tech is the only team that spends a lot of money on college football programs in 2025? I mean, stop, please. They're all doing it. But for some reason, every time Tech comes up in one of these national conversations, they go right to the money. As if nobody else is doing this. As if it's a foreign concept where Tech is spending 30, 40 mil and everybody else is spending $3 to $4 million. Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, they're all doing it. So stop with this. We're talking about Texas Tech. We got to talk about how much money they spent on the roster. Goodness gracious, it's so tiresome. What's not tiresome is you being here as a part of the show. Make sure you're subscribed. UCF's in a tough spot now. They're 4-6. They got to win out to reach a bowl game. And Scott Frost gets a big bonus if they do. They got Oklahoma State at home this weekend. They'll be favored. But then they got to wrap up the year at BYU, with BYU probably looking at a trip to a Big 12 championship game with a win. So I don't like their odds there. I don't at all. Please make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for joining us, as always, on the show.